so contagious. Yeah.
Your love is so contagious.
Tell me you want me.
Yeah.
Without your love, girl, there's no more. Tell me why you ain't playing. Oh, and I know you don't want nobody else. No, no, no.
What's going on, y'all? It's your main man 5, and we back with another one. If you read the title, you should already be excited. You should already know that we're working on getting through this journey the way that I told you we would. As I said, we're going to be doing their essential albums. We're going to be doing Led Zeppelin 1 through 4, and then Physical Graffiti were all of their most successful things. Now, the things off to the side, those will get put in the polls to see if we continue with all of the other albums or if we'll just do particular songs from those things. But I like to focus on doing people's core music, just so I can say that, okay, this is what made them who they are. So I'm excited, and I know Led Zeppelin 1 through 4 were all consecutive, so it's good that these are their first 4 classic albums. I'm excited about that, but once again, not to talk too much, we're getting into Led Zeppelin 3. I hope you've enjoyed 2. That's been out for a little while now, and we'll talk about that more at the end with all of the other stuff. But yeah, let's get into Led Zeppelin 3. This first song on here is something that I've been seeing people ask me about a lot for a while, the Immigrant song. So I'm excited to get into this one. I hope you guys are too. Let's do it. This is them? There's literally no way that I would have known that. Okay, now obviously, if you grew up in my generation, you've heard that intro part through 100 fucking movies, but what it immediately takes me back to is School of Rock. If you know, you know, with Jack Black and Miranda Cosgrove. That's what that takes me back to. I've never heard the song of this. I just heard that initial first. Let's get into it. Now I'm hyper to hear it. I didn't know that. That's tough. That song hard as fuck. So, all right, that song was like a big chorus, number one, to keep it real plain. It wasn't much to go off from that, but I think what stood out to me is obviously listening to some of this shit made me think about fucking Norse mythology. Hearing shit like Valhalla, I'm coming to fight the horde, listening to them talk about oars, and it seemed like they fucking speaking from the perspective of fucking Vikings or something like that. I guess, let me read it. We come from the land of ice and snow, from the midnight sun where the hot springs flow. The hammer of the gods, we will drive our ships to new land to fight the horde and sing and cry, Valhalla, I am coming. On we sweep with threshing oar, our only goal would be the western shore. Yeah, it sounded to me like they're using the narrative of maybe them being Vikings and, you know, crossing the ocean to conquer new places. I guess you could take that from the perspective of them being artists and wanting to go international. Them wanting to be the type of artists that transcend just where they come from and dominating in their own country. We want to cross the waters and become big fucking stars everywhere. I like that where it says to fight the horde and sing and cry. You could use that as like, you know, going back to like a Pink Floyd, you could use that as like a metaphor for saying, we're going to fight the bigger machine who try to put us in a box and say that, oh, you'll only be this big in America or you'll only be this big in the UK. We're going to fight all of that bullshit and we're going to sing and give all of our emotion and our pain through our art to the entire fucking world. Basically, the Vikings' whole thing was about conquering new land. That could be their perspective as new artists. This is their third LP, but you know, by your third, it's starting to get to that make or break level. By the time you put out your third album, this is an establishing album. Your debut is your introductory. Your part two, your sophomore, is the follow-up just to show that it wasn't a fluke. But your third is to establish you in that class with the massive talents. So I feel like this is just coming from the perspective of saying, you know, we coming back with our third album. Y'all about to fucking see who we really are. And I like that this leans off of the first album too, because the last album was a lot about false bravado and getting in front of those people and living their rock star lifestyle. I feel like this is leaning into that narrative and letting them know, like, I'm really living this shit to the fucking max now. So I like that. This is Friends. want to hear the transition first. I knew that was gonna be hard. But I like the emotional maturity of that song. I like the fact that that song is really just encouraging people to be a good person to other people. At the end of the day, I like that it's coming from the perspective of if it's one thing you know how piercing it is to be lonely. You know how piercing it is to feel left behind and feel like nobody has consideration for you, what you're going through, or even to even check what the fuck you have going on. And based on listening to the first and second albums, I know Robert sings a lot from the perspective of somebody who grew up not really having that sense of familiarity with love and comfort within his household, within relationships. So it made him grow up pretty awkward, and it made it hard for him to develop those close-knit relationships. He was either 120% in or completely out and living a rock star lifestyle. So that's basically just coming from the perspective of trying to find some level of maturity and letting people know that if you know what it feels like to have been feeling like complete shit, if you know what it feels like to be depressed or to struggle through your life, you shouldn't wish that on other people. So if the only thing it takes for you to help brighten somebody else's day is just smile at them or have a simple conversation or make little interactions meaningful, you never know what somebody can leave that interaction with. You could have changed somebody's whole day. Regardless of what it is they're going through on a day-to-day life, the way that you make people feel is a representation of what your legacy will be. I think sometimes we get caught up in, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine last night, sometimes we can get caught up in thinking that our legacy is the amount of money we made or all of the fucking Bugattis we bought. But realistically, materialistic shit means nothing, and it all fades with time. The most important thing and your biggest form of legacy will be left with how you made people feel. People remember you for their interactions. People remember you for the type of person you were towards them and the way that you made them feel when they were around you. So if you're the type of person that's very intentional about showing love in every interaction that you have with anybody, people remember that a lot more quickly than they remember what you did with your first $1 million. Nobody gives a fuck about that. And everybody's struggling on a day-to-day. So if all it takes for you to not want to, my perspective is if you know what it really feels like to be truly sad, I'm not talking about just having a day, but truly sad, you wouldn't wish that on somebody else, because those are the times when you feel like you don't want to live anymore, or those are the times where you feel like you're not living in your purpose, or those are the times where you feel unlovable, or that nobody in their right mind would ever want to be around you. Those are when you get the hardest on yourself and the devil start to play tricks on your mind. So if you truly know what that feels like, you would do anything to make sure that other people who have a good heart don't lose themselves drowning in that same level of sorrow. And I feel like those are the beautiful parts of that song. It's just a very mature message, and it encourages you to not be a piece of shit. And if that's all that you take away from it, then that's a good fucking job. I like that song. This next one is called Celebration Day.
Face is cracked from smiling, all the fears that she's been hiding, and it seems that pretty soon everybody's gonna know.
sound on this album is focused more so on camaraderie. It focused more on the importance of building relationships. I like that dive from, well, I'll say rise, because in the last album, he was focused on partying, living that immature rock star lifestyle and trying to drown himself in the facade of what he felt like true love would be, being around women, taking drugs, being around your fans, partying as hard as you possibly can and rocking them fucking stages. When you're young, that's the most important things. But I like that this is showing a level of maturity and showing that the most positive way to make an impact is through building relationships. I like that this song is about building rapport and finding common ground with everybody. One line that stood out was when he was, first of all, lines like, we're in the promised land. She heard him talks of new ways to protect home she lives in, that she wonders when they break down the door. Her name is brown, white, or black. You know her very well. You hear her cries of mercy as the winter's toll bell. That really just sounds like this song is similar to listening to like a U2 record where they talk about unification and they talk about how we all need to put our pride to the side and appreciate our commonalities. Because if we put all of the bias to the side that's been pushed onto us from society or the hierarchy, depending on where you're coming from, the powers that be, I'll use that to go across the board. There's a lot of prejudice, propaganda, and ideologies that get forced onto you, and that's just subliminal messaging. When you see something repeatedly pushed and forced on you through the media, people start to believe and relate to something that you never even thought of yourself. That's the power of marketing. And I feel like this is really just talking about using that as a representation for how we all need to understand that we can step from under the grip of what the machine wants to force onto us, which is division, because that's more money for them to be made. There's more money in war and division than there is in love and joy and camaraderie. There's no money to be made if there's no division. There's no money to be made if people aren't fighting and killing each other. Who's gonna buy these weapons? Who's gonna go out here and start these wars? Who's gonna go out here and make these money overseas, going out there to conquer different lands? If we left all of that shit to the side, there's no ability to get to the bottom line, which is money. That's all that they care about. So when you say like brown or black or white, you know, I'll be talking about people in fucking India, white people, black people, Asian people, Puerto Rican people, no matter where people come from, everybody has kind of this separate ideology, whereas though we feel as though it's not even about thinking you're better than other people, but a lot of people, especially, we're in an awkward generation right now where fucking 60 years ago, we were dealing with Jim Crow and segregation. 60, 70 years ago, there was whites only bathrooms and colored bathrooms and shit like that. We're not far taken away from shit like that. So to hear music like this that was going on, and I believe this was in the 70s as well, fucking decade before that, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King got assassinated for playing their part in the civil rights movement. That says a little bit of everything that it needs to say. If we want to become a better land, outside of just them pursuing the effort of becoming rock gods, they have something to say. They have a real narrative on this album, and I like that the most. This is just about unification and letting people know that everybody's in pain. If we focus more on the fact that we have more alike than any of our races have with them, they care about the bottom line. They care about the top 1% to 2%. They care about the wealthy. Everybody else is just fucking crabs in a bucket to them. And they'll throw shit in the water to make sure that we fight each other. They'll even put somebody's claw up on the edge of it to make it seem like somebody's climbing out of the barrel just to watch the rest of the crabs pull you the fuck back down. So he's really just letting them know that if we all come together and become one band, one sound, that's going to be the part of leading to that celebration that we can all be happy and proud of where we become as a world. Not just a country, but as a world. There wouldn't be any war. There wouldn't be senseless murders. There wouldn't be nuclear wars. There wouldn't be bombings where children and women are. There wouldn't be a lot of tragedies that a lot of people have a lot of heartache and weight that they carry around about. You have people whose family are getting taken as fucking prisoners of war. You have captives that are being held in these prison camps. We don't even have to talk about slavery and the Holocaust and the way that that level of division and segregation forced trauma on the generations that followed in those races. So I could talk for days about this alone, but I feel like I just love the fact that they're personifying the idea of unification through a woman that's coming with her face is cracked from smiling, all of the fears that she's been hiding. And it seems that pretty soon everybody's gonna know, and her voice is sore from shouting. I love that they're using it to personify that somebody has to be the leading voice to push the charge ahead. Somebody has to be unafraid to the point that they'll let everybody fucking know what they believe and what needs to happen. This is the representation of the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther Kings, all of the representatives and people that stood out there on those front grounds to fight for some level of change. That's how I feel. Let me know what y'all think about that down below, or if you took something completely different from that song. Because sometimes I can run on tangents and it really has nothing to do with what the artist intended. Some of y'all who are they fans have watched interviews and get completely different meanings, but yeah. You wouldn't watch my channel if you didn't like tangents like that. I've heard this song. Ew. Ew.
I don't think that's right. I've really been the best of food. I did what I could, yeah. Of course I love you, baby. How I love you, darling. How I love you, baby. My beloved girl, little girl. Baby, since I've been loving you, yeah, I'm about to lose my war and mind. Ah, yeah. Everybody trying to tell me that you didn't leave me no good.
Come on, y'all. Woo!
Tears, it felt like rain. Don't you hear that? Don't you hear the falling? Don't you hear that? Don't you hear the falling?
Hold on.
Do you remember, Mama, when I knocked up on your door? I said you had the nerve. Tell me, you didn't want me no more. Yeah. Open my front door, I hear my back door slam. You know I must have one of them new panel back door I've been working from 7 to 11 every night. It kind of make a lot of drag. Baby, since I've been loving you, I'm about to lose my and just one more, just one more. Since I've been loving, I wanna lose my
Yeah! No, they lost their fucking minds on that one. No. Now, okay. If you know, I've listened to that on the channel before. I heard the live version from MSG 1973. If you want to go check that out for a longer, in-depth, focused breakdown of just that song, make sure you go watch that. But, because that's up here on Patreon and is on YouTube if you're watching from there. Now that I've heard 1 and 2, that song makes even more sense. Now that I've heard 1 and 2, and got to understand the relational experiences that he's had with the girl in the past, and the way that she treated him, the way that she made him feel, and the way that it led to him retreating further into himself. I love that this song is very much so reminiscent on the fans of the first and second album. I like that the story of this song is given a little bit more in-depth context on what their relationship was like. And it's taking us back to the essence of them singing the blues the way that I love so much from the first album. Because y'all know the first one so far is my favorite. This shit right here, yeah. That's deep. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I love that it digs a layer deeper from what we already knew. I love that one. I love the emotional maturity of this album. I'm gonna let some more of the songs play and I'll talk about it all at the end.
Hangman, hangman, hold it a little while. I think I see my friends coming, riding many a mile. Friends, you get some silver, you get a little gold. What did you bring me, my dear friends? Keep me from the gallows pole. What did you bring me? Keep me from the gallows pole. I couldn't get no silver, I couldn't get no gold. You know that we're too damn far from the gallows pole. Hangman, hangman, hold it a little while. I think I see my brother coming, riding many a mile. Brother, you give me some silver as you get a little gold. I want till you bring me my brother, keep me from the gallows pole. Brother, I hold you some silver, yeah. I bought a little gold. I put a little of everything, keep me from the gallows pole. Yes, I've told you to keep you from the gallows pole. Hangman, hangman, turn your head a while. I think I see my sister coming, riding many a mile, my.
There's a lot of depth in that song. I want to let it finish up more, and I'll talk about all of the themes at the end that I loved. But that right there, when you really look into the lyrics of that song, that's a very deep song. We gonna talk about it though. I love that.
Measuring the summer's day, I only find it slips away to gray. The hours they bring me pain. Tangerine, tangerine, living reflections from a dream. I was her love, she was my queen, and now 1,000 years between. Thinking how it used to be. Does she still remember times like these? To think of us again, and I do.
Yeah, these songs are kind of fucking crazy. These last three songs are fucking crazy. The reason why I love this album so much is because it's showing a whole new layer of depth to Led Zeppelin's music. Now, I could argue because of the layers of depth and the duality of humanity versus growth and the way that they've grown as artists, I could argue this is probably going to be the one to dethrone number one for me. These last three songs are a crazy run because between Out on the Tiles, Gallows Pole, and Tangerine, I love that it shows so much range of emotion. I love that Out on the Tiles gives the experience of what it's like to step outside of, because if you go back to one, you understand what that circumstance was like. Go watch that reaction if you want to hear me talk about that again. Two, I love that he was trying to hide from his feelings. But when he had those chances to get alone with songs like Thank You, those were the songs where he really got to express how he truly felt on the inside. No matter what facade everybody puts on, innately, everybody wants to just be loved. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be understood. Everybody wants to be held by somebody who truly would give their life for you. There's nothing that feels more significant than having somebody truly love you and not be afraid to show you that. So the importance of a song with Out on the Towels is him stepping outside of regression, him stepping outside of trying to hide his emotions and run away from the idea of possibly being loved. A lot of the first album was him running away from the uncomfortability that came with being in love. 2 was him hiding from it and putting on this facade and mask of being just that rock god that's out there living that lifestyle the way that it was intended to be. He's out there giving it everything that he got and ignoring his true emotions. But when he by himself, he can't avoid how he truly feels. Out on the Towels is special because that's him opening back up his heart and giving himself an opportunity to look at this love thing, give it another gloss over and just be like, you know what? That's some good shit right there. If I'm going to have some type of vice, love might be the answer to it. I love that song shows the willingness to love again, the willingness to live in that uncomfortability and change his perspective, understanding that the older you get and the more innate loneliness that comes with more time by yourself, that's not fulfilling anymore. That rock star lifestyle, being out there rocking stages, even that level of fluctuation can become mundane when it just becomes what you do. When you're a rock superstar, you're a fucking super group like Led Zeppelin, rocking these fucking stages and being legends up there, that's just what we do. That's casual shit, which is a flex in itself. Let me go try something uncommon. Let me go try some new shit. Let me go try to catch a new feeling. Let me go get a positive serotonin dump. Be bold enough to go out there and step on faith. And that shows a level of maturity. Because then going into something like Gallows Pole, based on the way that the perspective and narrative of the album shows the way that Robert as a character grew up, the way his character is written, the lore of it all shows that he grew up in a very unloving household. He grew up not surrounded by love, admiration. He wasn't surrounded by intimacy. He wasn't surrounded by people encouraging him to be bold enough to go out there and share his love, to be bold enough to go out there and invite people into your heart, even if there's a risk of being heartbroken. So the reason why that goes into something like Gallows Pole is that song shows through a story what it's like to put the trust of your life in the hands of other people. Not in terms of letting go of taking care of yourself, but what I mean is being mature enough to understand that everybody needs somebody. Being mature enough to understand that sometimes the crazy part of your brain can work you into some fucking situations that you don't know how to get out of by yourself. And everybody needs to be okay to let their pride go and say, you know what? I need help. I need somebody that's willing to reach a hand out, extend an olive branch, and let me know that you're there. I like that he used it through the characters of first saying, you know, I have friends that will ride. Even if they don't have shit to offer, the fact that y'all will be here on this day of my execution means the fucking world to me. My brother's coming along. He's bringing everything that he can afford to give. Here, take it. I want to save my brother's life. My sister's willing to put it all on the line. She's trying to sweet talk the executioner. She's trying to give you an opportunity to get out of here. And even though at the end of it, you know, it might not have been what you thought, but I love that that's representative as well. Sometimes you work yourself into situations that even the help of loving people can't save you from. Sometimes you got to live with the consequences of whatever life and path that you chose to take. That's representative of people in real life. Some people work themselves into holes where they got to be set down by God to truly focus. They got to be set down by God doing prison stints or things being away from their family and people that truly love you and wanted you to change your ways, but you didn't want to hear that shit because of what you were dealing with internally, the way that you were struggling, the way that you didn't know how to appreciate and accept the love, receive it from the people that truly wanted to give it to you. Sometimes God has to force you to sit down to show you what really is. Sometimes he has to slow you down to pull that momentum completely from under you. Using that proverbial rug and God pulling it from under you, sometimes you got to fall on your face to see what truly matters. And sometimes when it gets too late and you've worked yourself too deep into it, even when those people go to bat for you and they're willing to sacrifice everything they have for you, you just got to live with the decisions that you've made. And that's not to their blame, but it's to your detriment because that's a path you decided to take. But I love that song represents what it's like to finally lean on other people. What it's like to understand that community, camaraderie, and having people around you that truly love, you allowing yourself to receive it, and let them be there for you, that's a fucking superpower. And that's something that a lot of men don't understand. Everybody needs somebody. I made a new friend, y'all. I made a new friend. So his name is Martin. We hung out last night. We went to a cigar lounge. I got like a weird double-edged type of thing. I'm very good at talking to people. Like, you know, I talk to y'all. I'm very good at talking to people and making them feel comfortable to talk about me. But based on the way that I was raised, the character flaw that I have is I have trouble connecting with people. For me, my wife says my biggest gift is I can meet somebody one time and the conversation I have with them makes them feel comfortable enough to share their life story with me. That's a superpower, she calls it. But I never feel comfortable leaning on them. I never feel comfortable closing a deal and making a true friend out of them. I can walk away carrying the weight through empathy of what they're dealing with. I take their problems with me, but I never feel comfortable enough to share my journey, my story with them. I'm willing to share my story and what I've been through with anybody. That's my testimony. But just to build that intimacy of having like a real relationship with a friend, for me, it's been very difficult to develop giving people that title. Because to me, when I make a friend, I love you with everything that I have. We're family. I don't take words like that lightly. So if I have a friend, we really lock the fuck in. So it feels good to say that I made a new friend. We went to the cigar lounge. We had a conversation for a couple hours, smoked some cigars, shot some pool. He was celebrating a new promotion I got at work with me, which I really appreciated. Shout out to Marty. But that's my level of the gallows pole. Because I was telling him I almost didn't come because my biggest project right now is not being a flake with new relationships I'm developing. Sometimes I can get caught up in my head and be like, man, this shit probably gonna be like how it is with everybody else. I'm about to just stay in the house, chill with my wife, watch TV, blah, blah, blah. But something made me say, man, you better get your ass out of there and go make a new friend. You better take your ass out there and see what this could be, because you never know when you're gonna need somebody. And inevitably, those times come where we all need somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to share that with y'all because I'm proud of that. I just feel like Gallows Pole is a very deep song. Out on the Towels is a very deep song. And Tangerine is a very deep song because of the perspective shift that it gives. Tangerine takes me back to, I like that he does this and like Lemon Song and shit like that. I love that they use these fruits to show the representation of where they are, but also that innate emotion that I talk about a lot of. Even through the progress and maturity and growth, everybody has their days. Everybody has their moments. Everybody has those milliseconds where you stop and think back to what it was like before you attempted to make this growth pattern change. I like that this song talks a lot about what it was like to be in those stages of fear, those stages of denial, those stages of loneliness that we saw throughout Zep 1 and Zep 2. I love that this is a moment where it takes him back to fuck, man. Because you can't truly appreciate where you're going until you accept where you've been, you know? I like that he uses those lines like, measuring at summer's day, I only find it slips away to gray. The hours, they bring me pain. Living in a reflection from a dream, I was her love, she was my queen. And now there's been 1,000 years between. That's a deep ass, bro, what? I love that he's saying, even though he's standing in the beauty of sunshine, he still has those days where he gets pessimistic, where it just feels like those beautiful summer days with the sun shining so bright. At the end of the day, it all just slips to a lack of happiness. You have those moments where you feel miserable, reflecting back on what you've been through. Knowing what it felt like to be truly in love with somebody and give everything that you've had, going back to since I've been loving you, being willing to give everything you had to somebody who wasn't ready to reciprocate, to somebody who wasn't ready to love you the same, but recognizing that the metaphor of saying it's been a millennium since then, that's a representation of how much I've grown from that situation, how much I've allowed myself to become a better person since that time. It feels like it's been a fucking 1,000 years worth of me getting these reps and lifting weights. It's been 1,000 fucking years of me keeping up with my reps and truly getting comfortable with who I am and who I want to be. But I love that, you know, you reminisce on that because those heartbreaks always send you into those little spirals of what could have been. Even if, you know, you're moving on, It's human nature to sometimes have those moments where you sit in the past, even if you don't dwell on it day to day, it's always there. That's why I say, things you go through, you accept it, but you never forget it. And I love that this song is reminiscent of that. It's acknowledging the pain that he's been through, but saying that it feels like it's been a millennium since we've been there. I love the depth of that song. I love that it represents how far he's come. I love it. This might dethrone one, y'all. This one's tough. And the next song is called That's the Way. It's tough. This is tough.
I don't know how I'm gonna tell you I can't play with you no more. I don't know how I'm gonna do what Mama told me, my friend, the boy next door. Satisfied to sit here working all day long. You're in the darker side of town. Mama say to me, that's the way, oh, that's the way it ought to be, yeah, yeah. Mama say that's the way it ought to stay, yeah, yeah. Ooh. Yesterday I saw you standing by the river, and weren't those tears that filled your eyes? And all the fish that lay in dirty water dying, had they got you hypnotized? Kissing tiny flowers, but all that lives is born to die. And so I say to you that nothing really matters, and all you do is stand and cry. About it when all your ears have turned away, but now's the time to look and look again at what you see. Is that the way it ought to stay? That's the way it ought to be. Oh, don't you know now?
I'm gonna give you a late one for that one. I'm gonna give you a fucking late one for that one. That song, yo, yo, that song is deep as fuck. Oh, I gotta do it. Fuck it. That song is deep as fuck because I love that we getting a deeper lore of what came before Zep 1, bro. I love the lore that we getting because this gives more of an insight on what his parents were like. This gives more of an insight on the hateful spirit that his parents had and why he grew up the way that he did, why he grew up so distant and having a lack of intimacy and having a lack of being able to make true connections the way that he did. I love that this song represents what it was like to, I knew y'all saw me scrolling through the lyrics. I don't know how I'm gonna tell you. I can't play with you no more. I don't know how I'm gonna do what mama told me. My friend, the boy next door. I can't believe what people are saying. You're gonna let your hair hang down. I'm satisfied to sit here working all day long. You're in the darker side of town. And when I'm out, I see you walking. Why don't your eyes see me? Could it be you found another game to play? But what did mama say to me? That's the way it ought to be. Yo, do I even have to really, you feel me? This song is about having prejudiced parents. This song is about, and they're growing up. This album is in the 70s. If Rob was in his 20s around this time, he might have been growing up in mid to late 50s, going into the 60s. Going into the 60s, he would have been old enough to have those true memories of situations like this. That's the height of segregation. That's the height of the civil rights movement. So this song really just seems to be about racism innately. It seems like maybe he was friends with a black boy, or maybe he was friends with somebody of some level of different creed. I use black because the metaphor of them saying you're in the darker side of town. That makes me think he had a best friend when he was a kid that was a black boy. But because of the time, I use the phrase of people being a victim of their time a lot. The time that they were in, it was frowned upon for little white boys to be close with little black boys. That's not what we do. You're supposed to be separate. That's not your fucking friend. And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it gotta be. That's the way it should be. You're supposed to stay over here and be friends with your people. Go make friends with those little white kids down the corner. Why you want to be friends with him over there? I love the fact that this song is so emotional because it tells the experience of what it was like to essentially get forced a heartbreak, essentially get forced to let go of a meaningful relationship because of the prejudice that your parents hold against something. And they probably can't even fucking explain why they feel that way. I've never met a true racist, I'm talking about a real racist that can explain to me why they don't like black people. Tell me why. And I've had conversations with them. Tell me why. One of these days on a separate channel, I'm going to do a Jubilee. There's a couple videos I want to do. I want to do one Gen Z versus 20 Gen Xers. Or you ever seen those type of Jubilee videos? I want to debate them. I want to understand why they think the people of my time are so weak-minded. I want to debate them and give them points as to why we could teach them a lot and why people of old times should be grateful for the progression. Yeah, it's a lot of points that I feel like, we lost the plot and a lot of things went a little bit too far. That's not for me to speak on. But from the perspective of them thinking we're weak, I got arguments. I would love to do a debate with them and explain that they were weaker than they want to consider. You're weak-minded because you gave way and you let propaganda and media and people who don't give a fuck about you tell you that you should hate other people. You don't even fucking know why. I've never met a racist that can tell you why they hate people. I just don't like them. Cool. I don't fucking like you either. I want to debate with them, and I would love to do a Jubilee. One black man versus 20 racists. Y'all watch this channel. Y'all know I love me a healthy debate. And y'all know I love to articulate my point so in depth. I would love to blow their fucking minds. Tell me how y'all feel about that. If I did A one black man versus 20 racists. Wouldn't that be fire? Wouldn't it? Don't steal my fucking idea either. If you make content, don't do that. Comment down below if that'd be fire. But yeah, he got forced to heartbreak essentially. His mother forced him to let go of a love that he had, let go of a significant relationship, and separate himself from his happiness. That's the real deep one. This is reminiscent of listening to songs like Mother on the Wall, and the way that she said, I'm gonna put all of my pain and all of my hurt and every ounce of what I've been through in you so you can grow up and be just as scared as I am. So you can grow up and be just as hateful as I am. This song is telling the story of a roundabout way of exactly what Mother was like. Listen, and it's the song is writing out exactly what the experience was like. Yesterday, I saw you standing by the river, and weren't those tears that filled your eyes and all the fish that lay in the dirty water dying, have they got you hypnotized? To recognize that, I'm sure on their side, that little boy's parents was telling him the same thing, but not for the same reason. They weren't telling him to not be friends with the white boy because we're racist. They're afraid for their son's well-being. They're afraid that something might happen to their child just because he chose to be friends with the wrong person. So that little boy's emotional, and he's out there by the river where you guys hang out, just being who he is. But he's getting emotional because he's dealing with the same heartbreak that you are. Yesterday, I saw you kissing tiny flowers, and all that lives is born to die. And so I say to you, nothing really matters, and all you can do is stand and cry. I love the fact that his mother is speaking through him. As a child, you know damn fucking well he didn't live that way, he didn't believe that way, but because of their parents' prejudice, it forced him to grieve a relationship as a baby. Look at this pessimism. Children shouldn't have this level of pessimism in this line by itself. All that lives is born to die. What fucking kid talks that way? The depth of these lyrics are very personal because it talks about the level of pain and the weight of the ideology his parents forced on him, and the way that it ruined his idea of what being accepting was, the way that it ruined his ability to build those new relationships and believe that they could work because they always got cut short because of what was forced onto him. I could talk about this song by itself for 20 minutes. That's a deep song right there. Let's finish up the album, y'all. Did we get 3 of these in one album? Come on, y'all. It's the one. This is the one. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one, bro. Yep. Yep.
One thing I am sure is a friendship so pure. And you're singing all around my door so fine. Yeah, ain't the one thing that do you're the finest girl I knew so fine. And you're old and your eyes are dim. There ain't no old shit gonna happen again. We'll still go walking down country lanes. I'll sing the same old song. Hear me call your name.
Man. Oh, fuck.
When I done quit holiday, baby, I will leave. I'm shaking on give me, baby, won't be late. You found that I need my second later. Must I shake on when I done quit holiday, baby, I believe I shake on shake. Well, I ain't no monkey. I can't climb no tree. No brown skin mother wanna make no monkey out of me. Yeah, I ain't no monkey. Sure can't climb no tree. I've been mistreated, baby. I believe I should go down. When I've been mistreated, babe, I believe I should go down. Listen, mama, put on your morning gown. Put on your nightshirt, mama, we're gonna shake 'em all down. Yeah, must I shake 'em all down. Ooh, I just been mistreated, baby. I believe I shake 'em all down. Give my baby $20 bill. That's no picture. I'm sure my shot will. Yeah, give my baby $20 bill. Well, if that don't get that woman, I'm sure I will. Gonna shoot now.
Man, we talk so much about it throughout the album. I'll start by saying this S tier. I'll put a screenshot of it so you can see where the last three Zepp albums have gone. This is a S tier. This is my favorite Led Zeppelin album that I've heard so far. This is the best one. The reasons why I've spoke about throughout the course of the album, but I love the fact that this album is more layered, more multifaceted, more mature than any of the works that they put out before. This one literally came out in 1970. This was before Dark Side of the Moon. This was before Wish You Were Here. This is before The Wall. So the fact that these songs remind me of stuff that happened nearly a decade later, like when I was talking about That's the Way and how that's applicable to something like Mother. Who knows? They could have drawn inspiration from listening to this right here. And I think what makes this album so cool is it shows so much strength. It shows so much maturity. It shows the way that Robert worked through everything that he was taught as a child in a way that he came so far, but by his own strength, by his own decision. And I think that makes it very cool because I think sometimes it's really easy to get caught up in the cycle of feeling like whatever you were raised to believe, whatever was forced onto you mentality-wise, that's who you have to be. That's the person you have to dedicate your life to becoming and flourishing into. But honestly, you have the right to decide to be whoever it is you choose to be. You can choose to live in the sorrow, the trauma, and the pain that was caused by your parents and the relationships that you dealt with coming up. Like, for example, it showed through these first three albums what that looks like. It shows what it was like to have prejudiced, mean, unloving parents who had a sense of hatred in their heart, who raised a child. He grew up to not understand intimacy. He grew up to not know how to be loved. He grew up to not know how to accept love and how to be in any type of positive relationship. He was afraid to be a friend to somebody. He was afraid to love somebody because there was always that fear in the back of his head that innately everything that I love leaves me. Everything that I love has to be cut short, so what's the fucking point of trying? When he tried to do it, that girl broke his heart, and it kind of reiterated the fact of what his mother taught him. It reiterated the fact that you don't need that shit. That's not what's important. You need to grow up to be like this. This is who you need to be. When hatred is forced into your heart, and the relationships that you deal with and put your all into reignite that hatred spark, how can you not spiral? I love that that leads into, the fact that in one, he had a relationship, he had his heart broken, then he ran away from love. You get the Zepp 2, he's living that rock star lifestyle. That album is about avoidance. That album is about not accepting anything that could even remotely make you feel emotional. You want to avoid those things and live in this delusion, live in this facade of what you think truth, love, and happiness is. I'll just get my love from my fans. I'll just get my love from that bottle. I'll just get my love from all of these random women. I'll get love from these drugs. I'll get love from that stage. I'll get love from this party. That's what you live in. But it gets to a point where, like I said, all of those things, your success, all of that shit gets mundane too. And the only thing that can spice it up is when your comfortability is living in fame and success, maybe you need to try something that's going to be more satiating. Maybe you need to try something that's going to be everlasting, because celebrity, fame, all of that shit fades with time. But having somebody who truly has a heart for you, having somebody who truly loves you, building those relationships around you that last for a lifetime and whatever comes after this, those are the most significant parts of life. And this album is him coming to that realization that everything that his mother taught him, everything that he thought in his earlier years were wrong. I need to surround myself with a community of loving people. I need to be open to letting friends be a friend to me. I need to be open to letting love that comes into my life. I owe it to at least court it. I owe it to entertain the thought of possibly being able to love this person. I owe it to myself to allow somebody to love me for the first time the correct way. Not me giving everything I have and the door being slammed in my face. I owe it to myself to allow love to to wrap its arms around me. I owe it to myself to indulge in the idea that I deserve to be here. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to have people around me that care and show me. This album, powerful. So many themes. It talks about, it takes you to the lore of what it was like to be a child and deal with prejudiced parents. Now you could, because that one line where it talks about the long hair, maybe it could be like a Native American person, depending on, because they're darker skinned, more towards my complexion as well. Maybe the friend that he had was either black or Native American. To me, that's what it spans of. Because when I think of a black boy, I don't think of long hair. I think of high. I think of afros. I think of curl patterns. But when I think of long hair, long flowy hair, that could be like a Native American too. Maybe y'all know some lore, but the story that I gave to that song is still applicable to both things. Even down to the colonization of people coming to this country and taking it from the Native Americans. That's the entire different thing, but it's still applicable. I love that it gives you background on what he's been through. It gives you stories and narratives that talk about the extent to which he's willing to open his heart and allow people to be there. Even with my life on the line, I'm willing to let people advocate for me. I'm willing to let people come out and show me how much they love me, show their loyalty through their efforts to be there for me in my darkest of times. I love that he's talking about the possibility of accepting love again. I love that he's talking about finding love in relationships, even with something like having a dog, with that being man's best friend. Him having the bandwidth to have any emotional connection with anything. I love the maturity. I love the growth and the extent of his writing ability. I love the fact that this album gives so many different layers and shows the fact that he's trying. I'm getting older and I just want to be happier. I want to be a better person. I want to live a life that I never thought I deserved. And for the first time, I actually believe that maybe I can have that life. This is a powerful album, y'all. And I talked so much about the songs as they went on. He talked about unification. He talked about races coming together and fighting against the machine. Instead of focusing on propaganda and false media narratives, let's focus on getting to know one another. Let's focus on finding common ground and meeting each other where we are, because that's where our happiness lies. We deserve to give each other equal opportunity. Fuck what they talking about. Because at the end of the day, it's us versus them, not us versus them versus you versus me. That's bullshit. We all can live on common ground if you have conversation. I love that this is just promoting having that conversation and being open to being a good fucking person. I love that he talks about the simple things like smiling at people, embracing them in good conversation, letting those moments happen where it's a pure interaction, because you never know what small things that you give can help lift somebody else up. Because like I said before, if you ever been through true depression, if you've ever been suicidal, if you've ever been through those phases in life, you don't wish that on other people, because you know how much life it sucks out of you. You know how much turmoil and what that journey looks like to try to make it back from absolute below rock bottom. If I can do even the smallest thing of giving somebody a semblance of peace and otherwise a storm of a life that they're living, I'm living in my purpose. And I love that the message of the intro with them becoming rock gods and coming to become those international legends was followed by this level of music, because the level of music that came after the intro represents why they deserve to be those superstars, if that makes sense. The iteration of it was just like, yo, this is what we feel, and this fucking album is why. Y'all gonna accept this shit is undeniable. And coming into the 70s, where you start to get the lyrical expertise of Pink Floyd's, and going into 80s when you're getting unification and lyrical depth shit of U2 with Joshua Trees and rattling hums. Fucking U2 was writing songs about Billie Holiday. They were writing songs about unification, religious prejudice. They were talking about classism. They were talking about societal standards. They were talking about monarchies. They were talking about fighting the system. This shit was grassroots level blueprint for everything that came after it. And I love that they paid credit to going back to the blues and paying homage to all of the black artists that they took inspiration from, all of the black artists that inspired them to become better. I love it, man. This is, yeah, that's that shit right there. If you enjoyed this album reaction, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're here on Patreon, comment down below. Give me some thoughts on it. Let me know if you agree with the themes that I came up with as I listened, or if you drew completely different correlation to different topics and meanings from what the music meant to you. You know, I love to hear it. Comment down below. Let me know where you were when this album was out. Let me know what this album means to you. And what's your favorite of the Led Zeppelin? 4 is next, and I've always heard 4 is the best. So I'm going to be the judge of that, because for me, 3 is the best right now. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what your favorite is, and share some thoughts with me. Share whatever's on your heart. You know I love to read those messages, and I love to interact back and forth. But if you are watching on YouTube, as always, I'll put the QR code to Patreon right here. Just in case this full album reaction doesn't make it on, it's always going to be up exclusively on Patreon regardless. And even if not, a lot of the time is up at least a month before anybody gets a chance to see it on YouTube, because this shit, I never can call what's going to happen. But if you want to be able to stay ahead of the game and see exclusive content and just all of the shit that we're working on, join some more community and have more conversation, get to know my wife and I a little bit better, join the family on that side. There's always room for more growth. And shout out to all of our patrons. Your continued support makes all of this possible. And you make it possible for us to have the space to have these conversations, and that means the world to me. I really do appreciate you guys, and I'm glad I got to share my story with y'all about making a new friend. I think that was dope. Yeah, let me know if y'all like my ideas about those Jubilee style videos. Not Jubilee, but Jubilee style. Let me know what y'all think about that. If y'all feel like that's something that, listening to me, I would kill those type of videos, let me know, because that'll be confirmation. And I love hearing from y'all, because y'all always let me know, like, yeah, you know, you doing that, or you have a real gift with being able to speak to the people, or those messages encourage me, even though I have trouble receiving it sometimes. But I appreciate you guys, and until next time, I go by the name of 5, and I'll see you on the next Zepp album. Peace. 5.
How does this go? You wanna know? You've never been here before. Go with the flow. We'll take it slow. No need to rush. They don't gotta know. That's between us.